Today we're going to be writing equations for lines. This line has a slope of -7 and a y-intercept of 1. That information goes wonderfully with our slope-intercept form of the line, y equals mx plus b. You might recall from our last lesson that m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. So if I knew those two pieces of information, I could just plug in the values, and we're given those right here. Our slope is -7, so here for m, I'm just going to plug in the value of -7. And our y-intercept is 1, so our value for b is 1. And since it's positive, we're going to add those together. And we're finished with that one. So when we're given the information, it's super easy. Our second example is over here with this graph. And we're not given the information, but we can find that information from here. We need to find the slope, and we need to find the y-intercept. So let's find our slope by doing rise over run. Let's start here, and we're going to go down and to the right, down and to the right. So we can see we have a negative slope right there. We're going down 1, and we're going right 2. So our rise is -1, and our run is 2. That gives us a slope of -1/2. Our y-intercept is right here. We can see it crossing the y-axis at a value of 4. So our y-intercept is 4, and now we can put those two values in. For m, we're going to put -1/2. For b, we're going to put 4, and then we'll be done. So we have y equals -1/2 x plus 4. And that's the end of our equation for that one. On this one, we have some values in a table of values, but we don't have the slope and we don't have the y-intercept yet. We've got to figure those out again. I like to take these and graph them. You will be able to see these without the graph. I'll show you that in just a second. But I like to put them on here so I have a visual of what's going on. So our first point that we're given is -4, -2. Our next point is -2, -1. Our third point is 0, 0. And you can see that those are lining up nicely. So let's find our slope. This time we're going up and to the right. We're going up 1 and to the right 2. So our slope is 1/2, or 1/2. We can see our y-intercept happen right here. It's at 0, so our y-intercept is 0, and we can now put those values in. So we get y equals our slope, which is 1/2, x plus 0. Now that 0 right here is optional. If you add 0 to something, it doesn't change the value. If you put it in there, that's fine. But if you leave it out as well, it doesn't change the equation, and most of the time you'll see it written this way. On our table of values, we could have gotten that information. I'm going to put that 0 back in there so we can see it by doing the following. From here to here, we see a pattern where we're increasing by 1. We're adding 1, adding 1, adding 1 to our y value. And over here, we're adding 2 each time. And our slope ends up being 1/2. Our rise and our run. Our rise affects the y value, which is this, and our run affects the x value, which is this. So there is one way that you could get the slope without having to draw it on a graph. The y-intercept also we can spot from the graph. We studied that the x value is always 0 for our y-intercept, and we can see that that happens right here at this point. The y value that goes along with that is 0, and that is where this value of 0 came from. Thank you.